Pterodactyl.
Yeah, nothing cool. Just
All
stuff
right.
happens. Why not?
So, it would take another 14 years for us to get to the next installment in this franchise, but finally in 2015 we did with Jurassic World.
On the OG site of Jurassic Park, we get a full-blown theme park called Jurassic World, where nothing can possibly go wrong. That is until a brand new and highly intelligent dinosaur escapes containment and causes chaos across the park.
Will a new batch of characters be able to stop its rampage? Let's find out. So yeah, the biggest thing of this is, well, there's two big things. One, that they actually successfully made Jurassic Park and made it like a attraction. And then there's also them genetically creating new dinosaurs. And in this one, it's called the Indominus Rex.
Yes, that's one of the biggest parts of the movie is that they have created a brand new species of dinosaur and
it's
expected nothing to go wrong.
Yeah, this dinosaur is, like we said in the intro, highly intelligent. It can camouflage. It's part raptor, so it can get the raptors on its side.
It can also hide its heat signature, which is
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. But I think...
And it's fast.
This movie was very special to me, though, because I saw this like 4 times in theaters. I dragged everyone I knew to it. Like, I went with my mom, I went with my aunt, I went with my grandma.
Yeah.
Like, I went with everyone. And I think it's just part of the appeal of this movie is kind of, for a little bit at least, getting to see an opened park.
Exactly.
Because we didn't...
We never got to see that in the
original
original
We saw, like,
trilogy.
little bits and pieces of the Jurassic Park in the original, but we didn't. Hammond makes it clear that it's not done.
Yeah.
So to see a fully operational theme park is like awesome.
Yeah.
And also, we're
like
introduced to Owen.
Got restaurants in it and stuff like that. I would love to go to a hibachi restaurant with a bunch of raptors watching me and probably feed one of the raptors.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, maybe Owen Grady can do that. That's a good segue.
Oh,
He's the new character. Him and Claire.
Yep. Owen Grady, played by the legendary Chris Pratt.
Who's not well liked these days by some people. I don't know why. I think it's just because he's in everything.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that Chris Pratt's in everything.
I appreciate it.
He's so awesome.
I agree. But
yeah,
he trains the raptors to like respond to commands.
Yeah, and that's another thing in this movie. There's this guy that wants to weaponize dinosaurs because they can now follow orders from humans. But like Grady makes sure that he knows that like it's based on like years of bonding with these dinosaurs. Like
he had to be around them since birth.
Yeah, and
they're not just gonna trust
we
anyone.
get a very iconic raptor named Blue, who's got the blue stripe on the side of her face.
We'll see a lot more in this trilogy.
Yeah, and she is
awesome.
Yeah, and also Grady's favorite raptor by far.
Yes. And I mean, Claire's also an interesting character. She's like one of the people who kind of runs the park. She runs the day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
Her nephews are there.
Yeah,
it's interesting to
she
see
has
her
like
evolve.
assistant just with her nephews all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then her assistant dies.
Yeah,
which one of the worst deaths in this franchise.
Death by Mosasaurus and Pterodactyl.
But
so here's the rankings.
Number 2.
Look at this mad lad. I'd love to be that guy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You can't
so anyway,
not love that.
This is the 2 for us.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
yeah.
I think this movie is it got the franchise back on track. They didn't really stay on track with the next 2,
unfortunately, but
I think that's the biggest thing with this movie is it got the franchise back on track and actually like brought it back.
Yeah, and I do have to say, I've been to the Universal theme park in Orlando. The Velocicoaster, best ride there by far. Just had to point that out.
All right. Well, we got to take another quick break, but we'll be right back on Be Kind and Rewind.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No, but you've got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it. Jill
Should we
told me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
It's Al Roker.
Welcome back to Be Kind and Rewind. Let's finish up these prehistoric adventure and get back into the rankings.
In 2018, we have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This takes place 3 years after the Jurassic World incident, and now the dinosaurs are in big trouble.
That's right. A massive volcanic eruption is threatening the dinosaurs with a second extinction. Owen, Claire, and the others must get the dinosaurs off the island, as well as uncover a new conspiracy involving a strange new addition to the franchise, a human clone. So,
I think that's one of the biggest things in
Yeah.
the movie is we are revealed a human clone.
yeah,
Maisie Lockwood.
one of a clone of Ben Lockwood's daughter.
Ben Lockwood, who we
Yeah.
learn was actually heavily involved in the making of Jurassic Park. He was
With
partners
John
with John
Hammond.
Hammond. And it's... I hate how much of a throwaway it is, like,
Yeah,
when it's revealed.
It's like the villain Eli is.
who you can immediately tell is going to be a villain
Yeah,
the first time you meet him. It's like, this guy's not going to actually be a good guy.
Yeah, it's like you can just by looking at him, you can just see, oh, this guy's the bad guy.
Yeah, he just looks like a generic suited bad guy in every 80s movie, except this came out in 2018.
Yeah, literally 6 years ago, I think, if I'm doing math correctly.
I think
So, yeah.
you are.
So yeah. Anyway, like when the reveal is that Maisie is not Ben Lockwood's actual granddaughter and instead a clone that he made after his daughter died.
Well, that's what they say in this one. We'll get to it in Dominion, but
Yeah.
they kind of reveal it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in Eli, before he actually kills Ben Lockwood, he's like, it was a horrific thing that you did. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. And that's the biggest thing I think I can say about this movie is it's weird. Like, it does kind of the same thing as Jurassic Park 3 and, like...
I'm sorry. I got to point something out. There's a hallway in the basement of Lockwood Estate. This hallway in one scene
He will not get over
has
this. He will
another.
not get over this.
This movie has another genetically engineered dinosaur, by the way, the Indoraptor. But in
does.
one scene, the Indoraptor is at the end of this hallway in a cage. In another scene, there's an elevator at the end of this hallway. It's the same hallway. I don't understand it at all.
I mean, that's a pretty bad continuity error. Like, normally you can ignore some, but, like, that's a pretty big one.
Like, I don't understand how that made it past into
Yeah.
production.
And also,
Like,
that's the other thing. I think the Indoraptor is just a less interesting Indominus.
Yeah.
It's not as interesting of a monster,
Yeah.
I guess is the way to put it.
It's just like, it's just genetically engineered
Yeah.
dinosaur pretty much. There's nothing special about it. It doesn't really, you don't really go into depth about it.
It just exists.
And yeah.
They do
So,
get the dinosaurs to the mainland. They bring them to
Lockwood Estate.
Lockwood Estate and start selling them because that was Eli's
Yes.
plan.
Yeah,
Start
selling them to these rich bad guys. Because of
Rich-
course.
Because, you
you're
know,
gonna-
rich bad guys.
Yeah, they do rich bad guy stuff.
Do rich bad guys.
And yeah.
And then at the end, they all escape.
Yeah, at the end, because there was like a gas leak in the basement where they were all being held, and Maisie decides to let all the dinosaurs out
They're
instead of.
alive, like me.
Yeah. So yeah,
Alright.
that is it for that movie. Let's get to
Rank
it. And yeah, this is my last place.
This is 5. It's not. I don't hate it as much.
I
but
promise.
It
it's
went way down
yeah.
in a rewatch.
I promise it's not just last place because of the hallway.
Even though
but-
that's the only thing you ranted about.
But yeah, there's a bunch of other issues I have with the movie, but
I think you should
Th-
rant
that-
about other things, like just specifically being a Boston Red Sox fan. I think I think that's
Okay,
pretty.
we're going to stop this conversation now. All right, let's get on to the last
All
one.
right. 4 years later, in 2022, we got Jurassic World Dominion. After escaping Lockwood Estate, dinosaurs now live alongside humans.
A new company has brought most of these dinosaurs into a sanctuary, but their corrupt CEO has more sinister intentions, which involves not dinos, but giant locusts. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ian Malcolm all return to the franchise in this ending chapter to the trilogy. And yes, this is the last of this trilogy. I just found that out today, that the one coming out next year is not part of this story.
It's it's starting like its own new thing, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Just found that out this morning, but yeah.
Blew his mind, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into Dominion.
Yeah. So this movie, it kind of goes into like dinosaurs now living alongside humans, like
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but also it's
not enough.
A lot of it's also in the same location, which is like, what's the point of even going into that?
Oh, I will say they do travel a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when they get to the sanctuary, it's like, well, it's just dinosaurs in a forest again.
And a lot of the dinosaurs that show up are kind of just there to fill in gaps of dinosaurs we haven't seen in the franchise yet.
Like the Giganotosaurus, Therizinosaurus, like they're just kind of there.
Yeah, and the Quetzalcoatlus shows up at one point for like 2 seconds. That thing's
just to take a plane down.
Yeah, the thing's one of the most interesting creatures to ever live, and it shows up for 2 seconds.
It's it is what it is.
Yeah,
but
and
I will say, I was very happy when they announced they were going to bring back all the legacy characters. As the little nerd that I am, I was very happy. But the way they get them all to not Lockwood Estate,
the
sanctuary in
Biosyn
Italy,
sanctuary,
is weird. Like Owen and Claire are there to get Maisie because Maisie was kidnapped.
They kidnapped Maisie from their isolated house in the forest.
Yes, and then. But then the legacy characters, Malcolm was already there because he was working for Biosyn. He was like a speaker.
And then Grant and Sattler were both there because of these giant locusts that Biosyn released, even though the public doesn't know this, but they released it to, I guess, take over the food chain, I think they were trying to say in the movie.
Make even more money, like they were trying to take over the food chain. And it's an odd way to get all these characters together, but it worked well enough for me because you get the interactions you wanted to see, like seeing Alan Grant do like the Owen Grady, like trying to like control a raptor was super cool.
Oh yeah, speaking of raptors, Blue has a baby in this movie.
She reproduced without a partner. It was part of her. It was, I forget what animal they said. I think it was a tree frog.
Some kind of frog. Yeah.
It was in her genome, and she was able to just reproduce on her own.
Yeah.
So she has a little baby. It was really cute.
Yeah.
Name is Beta.
Name's Beta. Also has the little blue stripe on their face.
Another dinosaur that I want as a pet.
Yeah, me too. And like the last half hour or so is dedicated to saving Beta.
All right. So let's rank.
This one's my number 5 for me.
This went up to 4. It was 5, but it overtook Fallen Kingdom for me.
I thought this was going to be last place before we started, but now it wasn't. I actually kind of liked it on rewatch.
Yeah, same. I liked it a little bit
Still not
more.
enough to be more than 5.
Yeah, I just appreciated it more on a rewatch. I think it tried to do some cool things. It didn't succeed in everything, but I don't think you can really fault it for that.
But
at least it tried something.
Yeah, at least it tried. The only complaint I would have is more blue.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I say let's get into the good old train wreck of the week.
The third train wreck of the week.
Let's see what it is. It is when the raptor in Jurassic Park 3 in a dream speaks.
Yeah.
You heard me right.
You thought it was going to be the cell phone.
No, the raptor talks.
Alan.
Alan.
Oh God.
I mean, I will say that's somewhat creepy.
Yeah.
That is somewhat creepy. I must admit that would be creepy.
Yeah.
But I think.
So yeah, here is our final rankings. The top 3 are the same.
See everything, but I think we got to wrap it up. Unfortunately,
I
think we got to wrap it up.
So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for our first semester of Be Kind and Rewind.
Thank you all so much for tuning in, and shout out to our outstanding crew for helping us all semester long.
But don't worry, we will be back next semester to bring you all of your favorite movie content.
And remember, be kind.
And rewind.
lovers. Welcome to No Alternative, Oswego's source for alternative music. I am your host, DJ Dash, Oswego's busiest music nerd, and before we get started with tonight's content, I'm just going to take a moment to explain No Alternative and what it will be about. Since this is a brand new show, some of y'all are tuned in wondering, what is this? Who is this DJ Dash guy on my television? But I can guarantee whatever you're watching this on, TV, internet, a giant boulder with antennas drawn on it on crayon, you're in for a real treat. So starting off, just a little bit about me. My name is Dash Russ, but please, you can call me DJ Dash. I have been into music pretty much my entire life. I was raised by parents who were both musical in their own right. When I was 11, my father introduced me to a bunch of new wave and progressive rock music that he listened to when he was a kid. Starting around the age of 14, I began to listen to a lot of good alternative music, bands such as Gorillaz, Radiohead, and the Smashing Pumpkins. Flash forward 4 or 5 more years, and I became the host of Insomniac on Oswego's student-run radio show, WNYO, where I shared my music taste with the world for the first time. Now, I am here continuing to share my music taste, not just by talking about it, but reviewing it. You got that right. No Alternative is a music review show. Throughout the show, I'll review different albums by many alternative music artists, both popular and more obscure. Each of our segments will typically consist of a review of a new album or classic album, but every now and then we'll mix things up and do something different. These kinds of segments would include stuff like artist history segments, where I would go into depth with the history of a certain artist, genre history segments, where I go into depth over the history of a certain genre or subgenre in the alternative music sphere, and potentially artist news segments, where I would talk about noteworthy news in the world of music. But for now, since this is a new show, we're going to keep things simple and stick to some good old reviews of new albums. So we're approaching the first ever commercial break for No Alternative. Wow, I love ads and commercials so much, and all this stuff on the teleprompter. Coming up after the break, we'll go into the first segment of the night, where I'll go into depth reviewing the album, the brand new album by alternative metal band Fleshwater. We'll be back right after this.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I had to eat a raw egg on Chris's dormitory floor.
I currently don't have any federal pending charges.
You know what you never did? You never walked to Walmart, Chris. That's my co-host. This is for making me eat roast Pop-Tarts. It's showtime, Chris. Come on.
I want to be on the air for that. I got a couple things to say.
No. Spin the wheel. But you got censorship.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to... Welcome back, beautiful television watchers, to No Alternative, Oswego's source of alternative music. This segment, I'm going to go in depth about the new album by alternative metal band Fleshwater. Oh look, I'm in the void now. So starting off with some background on the band, Fleshwater. All right, so originally formed in 2017 in Lowell, Massachusetts, Fleshwater has been a well-known act in the realm of alternative metal in recent years. In 2002, they dropped their breakthrough album, We're Not Here to Be Loved, which garnered notable praise among critics for its use of shoegaze, hardcore, and metal to create a distinctive atmospheric soundscape. Personally, I was very big into this album when it came out, and I can say that the art for my radio show, Insomniac, the whole aesthetic of that was based off of this album's dark and ethereal visual aesthetic, which I also factor in with the ranking of my albums. With all that in mind, I am really excited to go in depth with this album, so let's get started. So this album starts off with Drowning Song. This track comes out swinging, no offense to Will Smith at the 2022 Oscars, quickly setting the heavy tone of the album before bleeding into the next track, Green Street. During this frantic track, the dual vocals of Anthony DiDio and Marissa Scherer, also known as Mercy, a staple of the band, shows in all of its glory. I really like the brooding outro of this track as well, which segues into the album's lead single, Jetpack. Jetpack is a dynamic track which displays everything I personally love about Fleshwater. It's very fast with these aggressive riffs, passionate vocals from Mercy and Anthony, and this really nostalgic sort of early 2000s atmosphere I really enjoy. Last Escape is a fast-paced track with urgent lyrics, which really reminds me of when I was writing the script, you know, because I barely got it done in time for the show's premiere. Anyways, Be Your Best is a more atmospheric track that slows the pace a bit. It's very electronic, and rhythmically it seems to take inspiration from trip-hop bands such as Massive Attack and Portishead. By now, I began to notice that all the songs on here sort of sound the same, so this song was really a welcome change of pace. But the band immediately steps back on the gas pedal for Jerometown. Anthony DiDio's clean vocals really get the spotlight here. While I think his clean vocals could have improved more since We're Not Here, they're still better than a lot of people give him credit for. Sundown is a more alternative rock sort of song, but it continues to employ the same atmosphere as the rest of the songs on the album. I don't really have much more to say about it, honestly. It's a pretty average song. But oh my goodness, does the next track really slap. Raging Storm has this very noisy intro that leads to a heavy and frantic song that just hits you like a train. No offense to essays the night before they're due. And by this point in the record, I gotta say I'm really enjoying Mercy's vocals. Now, Silverine is kind of just super underwhelming. But hey, at least it has a xylophone in it, so that's pretty cool. But thankfully, the album closes with Endless Sky, a very solid closer that does a really good job at closing the album. It's pretty cool. I'm running out of stuff to say, sort of, since what I've noticed is that all these songs, despite being really cool and awesome, are all really samey. And that's not a complaint this time, but I just wanted to mention that since it typically, it would be nice if there would... Alright, so talking about the record as a whole, I have mostly good things to say about it. It's a pretty solid alternative metal project with a lot of cool nostalgic elements, a consistent soundscape, and good musicianship from all of the band's members. If there's any real complaint about the album that I have, it's once again all the songs, really save for Be Your Best, all sort of sound the same. And that's not entirely a bad thing, especially for me, since it's the sound that I really like. I'm just saying that a little more variety in here would be a good thing. Alright, I think I'll give this record a 75 out of 100. All right, that includes my review of 2000 In Search of the Endless Sky by Fleshwater. No Alternative will be back right after the break.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
If you like action, romance,
if you're watching this,
and highbrow humor,
surfaces this.
Floor. Minch did not legitimately put his head in the toilet.
there's only one place to turn. Tune in to new episodes of
Oh boy!
only on WTOP.
Welcome back, beautiful television watchers, to No Alternative. I am your host, DJ Dash. In this segment, I'll be doing a review of the brand new The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die album. Wow, what a mouthful. Dreams of Being Dust. Starting off with some background on the band, The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die was originally founded in 2009 in Willimantic, Connecticut by Josh Sear, the band's sole original member. After multiple lineup changes, the band settled with the six-piece of Nicole Shanholzer, Josh Sear, Stephen Buttery, Chris Teddy, David Bello, and Katie Dvorak. In 2013, they dropped their debut album, Whenever, If Ever. This album showcased their prowess in Midwest emo and indie rock, a sound which they build upon in following releases such as 2015's Harmlessness and 2017's Always Foreign, by which point they were a notable member of the 2000s emo revival scene. 2021's Illusionary Walls expanded the band's sound by introducing elements of progressive rock and post-rock into their music. And now, in the year 2025, they are back with this brand new album, complete with even more ambitious changes to their sound. Does it make the mark? Well, let's find out. So, this record starts off with Dimmed Sun, which automatically marks this new stage of the band's sonic evolution. Very heavy with fiery riffs accompanied with synthesizers. Si Sufre Pero de Goza, I think that's the pronunciation, continues to forge the path that Dim Sun started with these really nice harmonies. The screaming vocals also continue on this short track, and I gotta say they're not too bad here. No Pilgrim didn't really land well with me. The harmonies on this track sort of didn't make sense for the musical tone. The more laid-back vocal style didn't work with the big booming riffs. I did really like the chorus though. Beware the Centrist speeds up considerably with a more hardcore punk sound. It starts out fun, and the screaming vocals here are really effective, but once again, the clean vocals halfway through the song come off as just really awkward here. Oubliette has this really floaty rhythm and soundscape. The calm and sort of insightful vocals actually fit pretty well on here, in contrast to the heavier songs on the album where they sort of stick out like a sore thumb. And Captagon, which goes back to the post-hardcore sound, but musically, there's a lot more cohesion. It also has this really awesome sort of mathcore-esque breakdown in the middle, followed by this really awesome climax with ascending guitars and lyrics that really seem to paint a statement. Dissolving and Reject All and Submit both continue the album's theme of being awkward and sort of missing the mark, unfortunately. The vocals from Dylan Walker from Full of Heck was a nice surprise, but ultimately they didn't do much to help the track. December 4th, 2024 is slightly better. The instrumental composition here is really underappreciated, with the crushing, slow, post-hardcore riffs that I really love. It's really one of my favorite tracks on this. Audrey's of Guilt is one of the better tracks as well on this album. I love the wall of sound the guitars make. And halfway through the song, I can say the same mostly for the closing track, For Those Who Will Outlive Us. It starts with this really quiet melody on keyboards which develops into this really nice soundscape. Halfway through, it switches up and goes in a more ominous direction that seems to build towards a dramatic finish, but really it doesn't lead to a very satisfying climax. So that concludes my track-by-track review of this album. As far as my thoughts as a whole, I didn't hate it like a lot of people did that I've gathered based on the online discord surrounding the album. I liked how imaginative it was, and I really liked that the band was going into this bold new direction into post-hardcore, going away from their early Midwest emo years. That and a lot of the instrumentals were really engaging with some unpredictable chord progressions and song melodies. But my complaints with this album really lie in the band's execution. There's not a ton of cohesion here, I feel, and the band seems to try and do too much experimentation with their sound on this record. While that's not a bad thing, you gotta make it sound somewhat coherent. I believe this record isn't all too great at that. My favorite tracks for this, my favorite track is the closing track, For Those Who Outlive Us. And overall, it's not a total stinker, but it could have been better. I give it a 60 out of 100. No Alternative will be back right after this break.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I had to eat a raw egg on Chris's dormitory floor.
I currently don't have any federal pending charges.
You know what you never did? You never walked to Walmart, Chris. That's my co-host. This is for making me eat roast Pop-Tarts. It's showtime, Crits. Come on.
I want to be on the air for that. I got a couple things to say.
No. Spin the wheel. But you got censorship.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back to
Welcome back, music lovers and television watchers alike, to No Alternative, the alternative music show, broadcasting out of Oswego. We have reached Block D, D for Deftones. That's right, I'm about to review the brand new Deftones album, Private Music, which is already one of my top 3 albums of the year. So, to start off, let me give you some background on the Deftones for those of you who have to be living under a rock and don't know who they are. They are an alternative metal band hailing from Sacramento, California, and they are currently featuring guitarist Stephen Carpenter, drummer Ave Cunningham, keyboardist Frank Delgado, and the larger-than-life vocalist Chino Moreno. And for this album, they are also joined by their current touring bassist, Fred Sablon. So I'll now give you a very brief rundown on the band's history. Formed all the way back in the late 80s, they signed with Maverick Records, where they gained a critical and commercial following through the release of their first 2 albums, Adrenaline and Around the Fur. In 2000, they released White Pony, which was met with widespread critical acclaim for its genre-bending sound that set it apart from other new metal bands at the time. Following releases, such as their self-titled album and Saturday Night Wrist, saw them further delving into this new shoegazy sound they created. In 2010 and 2012, following the tragic injury and eventual passing of original bassist Chi Cheng, rest in peace, the band dropped Diamond Eyes and Koi no Yoken respectively. I personally consider this era to be the peak of the Deftones' sort of dreamy, shoegazy sound. 2016's Gore and 2020's Ohms saw the band go in a different direction, a more spacey, sonic direction that was still popular among devoted fans, but it certainly divided critics. Getting into the track-by-track review, we start with My Mind is a Mountain, a thunderous opener that automatically inserts Deftones' spot on the throne of alternative metal. The riffs are loud, but not overly aggressive, and Chino Moreno's dynamic vocals ranging from cleans to screams also stand out on here. I also got to give credit to Delgado's synths, which on this track and the record as a whole add an important layer of sonic depth that gives it this magical, mountainous quality. Locked Club sounds very interesting. It doubles down on the heavy riffs with some very bold spoken word lyrics from Chino, but overall, it's not my favorite. The next track, Edyssis, originally didn't land with me, but upon recent listens, I've grown to appreciate it. It's got these really awesome, heavy sort of Stephen Carpenter riffs, but also a really beautiful soundscape from Delgado's synths. Up next is Infinite Source, and if Deftones were to have dropped a 3rd single from this album, then this would be the one. It's less heavy and has more of this dream pop sort of sound, peaking with this infectious chorus with introspective lyrics. Souvenir is not my favorite off the album, but it's still a very enjoyable track. Clocking in at over 6 minutes long, it's the longest track on the album and one of the longer songs in Deftones' discography, largely in part due to the needlessly long ambient outro. Oh man, this sort of made the song feel a little bit tedious and kind of a bore. CXZ snaps the record out of that ambient daze, though, with these really aggressive riffs and the dreamy synth soundscape that we're used to seeing. I think About You All the Time is a beautiful example of the quiet, soft dynamic that Deftones employs a lot. It starts slow, but then it explodes into these thick guitar layers. But the lyrics here are easily the standout. They're very positive, and I'd say even very uplifting. Like someone with their share of demons finally realizing they found inner peace. All right, Milk of the Madonna. Wow, what an amazing track. This is the second of the 2 singles from the album. It's heavy, fast, aggressive, yet it's still so incredibly ethereal. Chino's lyrics on the song also are really fantastical, and they go with the music to paint this really apocalyptic scenery. The music really reminds me of Swerve City from Koi no Yoken with its upbeat tempo and roaring guitars, but still during that bridge, it has that guitar solo. That's what that track reminds me of. But this track is far better than even that song. I'd say it's one of my top 10 favorite Deftones songs. Cut Hands incorporates the sort of spoken word / rapping delivery from Deftones' early albums. I don't think it really lands with me for this song, to be honest. But on the other hand, Metal Dream is a really beautiful track that opens with basically the same thing, just rhythm and spoken word, before it blasts into a beautiful chorus with this really nice wall of sound. The lyrics here are really romantic and ethereal. I know some people are not as big on this one, but I gotta give it credit because everything here flows very smoothly. Departing the Body has sort of an ambient sort of intro that leads into a quiet guitar melody. With how low Chino's voice is in this opening lyrics, you think you'd be listening to the baritones. Get it? Because baritones and Deftones. But jokes aside, this song is amazing. The chord progressions are simple and beautiful, and the lyrics are still fictitiously powerful as you'd expect. The loud-soft dynamic is also really effectively done here, much like a lot of the other tracks. Talking about the record as a whole, I think it's the best thing Deftones has put out since Koi no Yoken. It's musically diverse, but still concise for the most part. For a band that has more or less had the same sound for the past 25 years, it's really amazing how they still manage to put out fresh-sounding material. I mean, there are some songs on here that are worse than others, but none of them seem out of place on this record. Chino's lyrical prowess really shows on here as well. The lyrics, which largely deal with mental health struggles, are very abstract in a poetic sort of way that I really relate to. Instead of literally saying what's on his mind, his lyrics allow you to truly feel what... I'll give it an 85 out of 100. No Alternative will be back right after this. Welcome back, music lovers, to No Alternative, Oswego's alternative music show. I am your host, DJ Dash, and unfortunately, I have to announce that this is the last segment of tonight's episode. This segment I call DJ Dash's Music Diary, where I'll be doing a segment this segment I'll be doing at the end of every episode, where I'll be presenting you with all of my current most listened to songs that aren't on any of the albums I reviewed on a current episode. Alright, so the first song I have is Forest by System of a Down. For those of you who are in the alternative and metal communities as a whole, this band really needs no introduction. They're really among the best in both genres. Their fantastic 2001 album Toxicity recently celebrated its anniversary, and Forest is the 8th track off of this album. And it's a blistering track with soaring vocals from Serge Tankian and the lyrics, which are becoming ever more relevant in today's climate. Next up, I've got a track called My Heroine by the band Silverstein. Hailing from Burlington, Ontario, just a few hours away from here, Silverstein was one of the leading bands in the mall emo movement of the 2000s. Their most popular track, My Heroine, shines with arguably more raw emotion than most other bands of this era can muster. This track and the album, Discovering the Waterfront, is really phenomenal and could potentially be a candidate for a classic album review later down the line. Well, that is it for this episode of No Alternative. I am your host, DJ Dash. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a nice night.
Lakers Showdown, the game show that puts WTOP members head to head. I'm your host, Logan Russo. Tonight, we have a great matchup in store. Our first contestant on my right, the one and only, Evan Shomes. Evan, how are you tonight?
I am wonderful tonight.
You can clarify a little bit. I mean, how was
I'm
your
wonderful.
day?
My day was great. The sun's out. That's my day. It's great.
He's a really boring figure.
Thank you.
All right, now looking to my left, we have Sammy Sozio. Sammy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I had a solid day, did some homework, grinded out my assignments, and and now I'm here.
I was gonna say, hey, nice weather today.
Yeah.
Can't say no to that. Can't say no to that. So, for our first-time viewers and contestants, how does this game work? I'm glad you asked. First, you guys will play a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine who goes first. So,
Are volcanoes